Katowice, as we are going to be jumping straight into it with the pistol round. Fnatic, of course, starting on the CT side of things. And let's see what kind of a resistance they can offer.
They're going to be pressed early. If Astralis decide to keep pushing up the ramp, JW is going to take the first point of contact. Crims has his back covered. A dynamic duo of players, and it's Brolan, that man again, that is going to break the deadlock in this second map and give Fnatic the slight edge. Maybe they can convert offset edge, although they weren't able to a few times on overpass, but that's an entirely different ball game altogether. A distant memory, you'll be hoping, for the Swedes.
Brolan up close and personal as well. That is not a range where the USPS is meant to benefit, and he just absolutely domes him to find the opening pick, which is what he's been doing throughout this series, to give him all the credit that he is clearly due after overpass. Astralis, though, they've still got their full bank of utility, and they did lose the T-sided pistol on overpass and still come back to take the victory, so this is by no means a done start. Majest going to be dumping some utility towards that A bomb site, but he's actually going alone at the moment, just trying to keep these CT rotations honest. And he's keeping plenty of presence over there as well. Brolan just spotting out Glaive, and he will make the rotation round towards B as the pressure starts to come on from Astralis, and that CT side actually going to be rotating all the way back around Astralis. They do not know which bomb site they want to hit at the moment. JW will hear the footsteps coming underneath him and will look to take the early contact. Can't quite find the headshot though as Device starts to make his way in. The utility very limited, and Crims with a beautiful crisp headshot to take down Device. Now the smoke looks to come out, but the damage is being done. Dinks onto Golden and Crims as the bomb looks to get planted. Majest finds another, immediately traded, and Glaive and Zipex have got to try and hold this one down.
With a retake, there's always that possibility they can get it done, but they're both so very low in terms of HP. Still Zipex, though, claims the first blood in this trade, and the second as well, and the third. And Astralis will take the pistol away from Fnatic. They got the first kill. They had everything going in their favor. And once again, the Great Danes rose to the occasion.
And that is the danger of Astralis in a nutshell. You give them an inch and they take a mile. That T-sided pistol round should have been easy enough to convert at this point. Astralis went back and forth and eventually decided on the A bomb site, where their fortunes changed, and Zipex with a huge triple kill to make it happen gives them a very strong buy coming into this second round when Fnatic have absolutely nothing. So Device and Dupree, it's just a farming cash exercise for them at this point. Those two MAC-10s, the UMP of Glaive may even be able to get something. Crims' headshot angle on the boost hasn't actually been spotted by Glaive, but the Molotov will come in to force those CTs out, and Glaive with the backstab to take out the youngster Brolan and start things off on the T side for Astralis.
I know many people out there not a fan of Vertigo, but I do find this a tantalizing prospect to see how Astralis aggress on their T side. Always very quick to adapt to new maps. When Nuke came back in, they were one of the first teams to properly field it. Zipex tapping left and right, landing headshots, carving them, the executioner. The SG, his weapon of choice. And Astralis will briskly move to a 2-0 without taking any casualties.
Worrying signs, perhaps. But again, Flusher gets a lot of damage out of that default pistol onto Glaive. He brings him down to 4 HP. It's really unfortunate that he just can't quite find the dink to finish the job as Fnatic. They'll have their first full buy. It's not going to be as full as they would have hoped, though. A UMP for JW, an MP9 for Flusher, and Astralis, they're going to look to take advantage. The bonus round looking to come in here. Zipex on the Krieg, the only real rifle. I'm not counting the Galil on Majest. UMP and a couple of MAC-10s. Everything saved from the previous, but Flusher fully blinded, and Glaive with the drive-by. Device gets a second onto Brolan, and that's an M4 picked up. The B bomb site looking very vulnerable at this point, and Zipex is reading this perfectly. He's waiting for that CT aggression as JW looks to push close to the smoke.
5 kills and 171 ADR on Zipex. Wasn't necessarily called upon too often on overpass. JW yet to get a single point of damage in the first 2 rounds. Maybe that can change sooner rather than later. Fnatic certainly hoping that will be the case. 2 players already have been extinguished and dissolved away from this A side. It's going to be bolstered up though. It's more the lack of utility that's starting to worry me a little bit. Smoke and 2 Molotovs with 55 seconds, and they don't have control over middle. This is forcing Crims to watch it. They're constantly transitioning backwards and forwards, and in the back of their mind, they're constantly thinking, well, are we going to get pushed? And Device decides now is the moment. Now is the time that he wants to make a move through there. They're still stacking together, having their backs covered. The timing is off, And Device now going to rip straight through, not able to get a second, but Crims is so very low that a single bullet will end his life and more than likely the round. And now, to add to their woes, it's a post-plant. I'd like to see Fnatic back away and actually save these guns, but they're not going to be afforded the opportunity. Dupree with his Mac 10, ripping through Golden. And Crims looking to save with his 12 HP.
You can understand why he's done with that round, can't you? 12 HP to his name, no money across the board for Fnatic, so desperate to try and keep some kind of firepower as Astralis will go 3-0 up. They'll keep the rifles as well. Even Dupree upgrading himself onto an M4, so there can be no complaints from the Astralis side of things. They've got away with that bonus round fairly cleanly, and it's actually going to be another M4 picked up, so the firepower just keeps looking better for Astralis. Crims will be allowed to save, but look at that cash across the board for Fnatic. There's about $3,000 split between each player.
The decision needs to be made, and I think Fnatic will decide to tap out of this, just buy some utility, some upgraded pistols. Already, though, on the back foot, being hamstrung by Astralis, who have pillaged and plundered their way to a 3-0. It's been a bit of a quiet start from Fnatic as well. Nothing to really get the blood pumping. Yes, they got a good start in the pistol, but then they let things slip away. Going to be playing aggressively onto the ladder is Brolan. He's already done this. He actually did this identical play in the pistol. It's what got them the first kill.
Well, you wanted some aggression, but unfortunately it's not going to work out. Crims gets his head removed, and that's the M4 as well for Fnatic. They're down onto the pistols now. Just sees these Deagles and P250s lie in wait for Astralis. Zipex still watching the back lines, but he's taken a lot of damage, and up close and personal is where these pistols have their opportunities. Dupree, though, lovely flashbang from Glaive as he takes out JW, and Golden with it all to do on the bomb site with the Deagle. He's waiting for the timing, but Brolan's flank has been read beautifully, and he's taken so much damage. He's on 7 points of health as the execute comes through. Flusher desperate to try and support his IGL, and at least one 1D comes out. Device taken down, but Flusher, a 1 versus 4 with just a Deagle. We know he's done more insane things, but with the Molotovs, the utility, everything going against him, trapped between the mollies, the ticks will give his position away, and Astralis looking set to get their 4th round.
Only 9 kills in the first map. A rough day at the office continues, not just for Flusher, but also on the side of Fnatic. They are being disintegrated, dissolved away, but there is going to be a full buy around the corner. JW yet to get off the mark. I want to see what he has in store for Astralis. Only 23 ADR as well. It's not often you see JW having such a slow start here.
It feels like he could be the catalyst for Fnatic on a map like Vertigo. His AWP plays bring out some of that vintage JW that everybody knows and loves, and potentially there's a route back into this one for Fnatic. Fast play coming out towards mid, and Brolan sitting in the Molotov for a split second too long, down to 37 HP as the pressure piled on by Astralis. Flashes and nades to try and force him out of the angle. He has opted to hang around and almost catches the timing, but Glaive, the IGL, there to bail his teammates out when they had nades in hand, and now it is JW on that AWP. Smokes off, changes up his angle, and he's not going to get his opportunity just yet.
Had the right idea, just fires a little bit too late for the first player. Crossing Golden, could see a millimeter of Magisk's head, and he's converted it into a very welcome kill. Fnatic bringing us back, and JW, there we have it. His AWP is going to have some impact finally. Astralis on the back foot. Additionally, actually have no grenades left, and there's 55 seconds. So if Fnatic are going to get it round, it feels like it needs to be right here, right now. This is their best opportunity.
The bomb making a long rotation around as well, so time will start to tick down. Dupree gonna bring that bomb around towards the A bomb site as Crims uses a smoke as well to buy even more time. Zipex was just starting to think about sneaking up short, but instead he's forced to fall back and he'll wait for the reinforcements. It will be this 3-man hit, but one flashbang, all that remains. Device yielding that utility, and Krim smartly plugs himself into an angle, into a corner where he can't be cleared. JW from the heavens will look to watch on, and this is a huge opportunity. Flashbang gonna force JW off the angle, but there comes Krims with the shot, and in towards short. He just needs to stay alive, and he knows it. Dupree with the bomb out. 8 seconds left. He's trying to bait the peak, but it's not gonna happen. JW gets another, and Flusher finishes the job. Fnatic, they needed that round to go well, and with 4 players kept alive, they couldn't have asked for much better.
Good news for Astralis, though. They both died before the timer ran out. So they're able to take their economy forward. They're going to be able to get a good buy and are able to afford in the next round additionally. Deciding against any AWPs, not a huge surprise. T-side Vertigo is a strange, chaotic place, especially if a bunch of smokes and flashes being tossed down. A bit reminiscent to Inferno in some ways, where you're probably not going to get that many chances to fire off early. CT side's a whole different ballgame, of course, as JW is showing. With a different angle of aggression. Nothing forthcoming, but he can just back away.
The 4 Kriegs for Astralis, and that's the other perk of the T-side meta as it is. You don't even need the AWP to take these ranged engagements anymore. You pick up a few Kriegs, that's you done. Krims with one of them on the CT side of things, looking to cause some havoc towards short, but no pressure yet from Astralis. They've just taken slow control of the ramp, and interesting to see what Fnatic look to do. A Molotov perhaps suggesting that they want that short retake will bleed out a little more utility, and the timing on that spam so nearly perfect for Krims, but he can't quite connect. And Astralis will stay 5 men strong. No health exchange just yet for either side. And Astralis, they're queuing up for this A-sided execute, but they haven't gone for it just yet. More spam through, more hopeful connections, but nothing occurring as Golden now gets aggressive, finds the first behind the flashbang. Zipex there to trade, and Astralis know they need to up the pace a little bit now. They've been spotted out. They know there's presence down towards this A-ramp, and JW through Krims gets aggressive, finds the pick onto Zipex. The Molotov behind him not going to do anything at all. Glaive desperate to get onto this site, but Krims has got another. Finally, he's going to be taken down. Surely Glaive just about gets it, but it falls apart at the seams. Another misspray for the IGL on the Krieg. Almost gifts Fnatic the opportunity to get back into that round.
As he said, though, it's very one-dimensional from Astralis. They were all perched up on the ramp, and they felt compelled to go for a play. One of the downsides of Vertigo, one of the reasons why it has had a few changes, but it still feels this way, is it's very fast to rotate from one side of the map to the other. So on the T's, if you're all stacked on ramp, the back of your mind, you know there's a possibility of a flank coming in, maybe pushing through middle, even going down from the B side towards A, and so you feel compelled to go for that push. And as you say, I mean, they just walked into a grinder. I mean, at that point, there weren't any flashbangs or smokes that really deterred. There was a Molotov that was tossed down onto the sideway, but it was behind Krims. He'd already got his impact. And because he got that kill, they had to press on the A side because Krims could have pushed behind them from the ramp, and then the round's over anyway. So they kind of had to come out swinging. Astralis calling the timeout. Again, will be able to buy, this time deciding they do want the AWP.
They want Device to have that magical impact that he can, and it's going to be dropped across to try and enable him to do so. Full buy across the board for the CT side, though JW has that AWP, and he's been far more effective since he's had it in his hands as well. He's started to find picks for his team, and that can be so important on Vertigo. You need to find an early advantage. Magisk, with every disadvantage in the world, dropping down onto that Deagle to enable Device to pick up the AWP, and perhaps to find the opening pick for his team. Peeking over the top of the boxes, not going to see anyone just yet. It's Fnatic a little more passive on this occasion, allowing Krims to take control of the scaffolding, but JW, he'll hang about towards the sandbags.
Slowing things down, trying to allow Device to get that AWP in play, but it's Glaive. Wall banged out of the round early on. Fnatic starting to pick up the pace, and Astralis can't keep up for the time being. They still have 2 smokes, 2 Molotovs to play with the Danes. JW peeking the same angle as last round, just much later on. And this could catch Device out. He's hating his life. He was sat there for the last 15, 20 seconds watching that angle. As soon as he moves up is when JW gets the peek. And now Dupree and Magisk, again, are going to be trying their hand at A, which, correct me if I'm wrong here, Wolfie, but I think every single round has basically been A.
I haven't seen them head towards B yet, and as they try and take this ramp control again, the CT presence is significant. JW on that AWP. It's just all looking heads up for Fnatic at the moment. dupreeh picks the AWP off of the body of Device and hopes that perhaps he can make something happen with it. But with 25 seconds left on the clock, it has to be now. Magisk through the smoke will capitalize on Crims's low HP to find at least one frag for Astralis. But this Molotov from Golden can go onto the plant, and it's going to go there now. dupreeh, he's got to try and get this bomb down. The Molotov just not quite spreading. That's huge. The nade will finally finish the job, but he's bought Magisk half a chance. Krieg in hand, 1v4 required. Bomb planted for him, but the flank is starting to come in from flusha, and there's 3 players to push onto the site here. Magisk needs to find a frag, and there's nothing doing at all. Golden will win the fight on the M4, and Fnatic, they'll have 3 rounds, and they'll force Astralis' economy into a very awkward position.
I'm just perplexed at how Molotovs in this game work sometimes, man. I was sure that was going to spread and Device would be gone because he was on very low HP, just holding down the plant. Actually, pardon me, it was dupreeh. But that bomb plant does afford them a little bit more into this round in terms of utility and some upgraded pistols. That is now 3 rounds on the bounce, so round loss starting to accrue for Astralis. They'll have a solid buy in the next one. And again, it's A.
It's always A.
They just want to run into A as many times as possible, and maybe finally that wall will break down. Maybe Magisk is the man for the job, but he's been naded out, blown to pieces by Golden's HE. That ordnance worth every penny of the $300 investment. dupreeh and Device are being battered and bruised, but still alive, still kicking. I wonder at what point Astralis start to run in some fakes. At what point they start to use this propensity for going A against Fnatic and start to press on that B side. For the time being, though, a bomb plant is all they're looking for. Anything additional is a nice bonus. They still have 4 players alive, by the way, and an M4, but it's in the 1 player in Glaive that does not have Kevlar. So aim punch is going to be an issue. I'm a bit surprised he hasn't tossed that across to one of his teammates just yet, but also he's lining up a wallbang spot, so not necessarily that important after all. It's unlikely he does get tagged. He's spamming up through there. He's done nearly 100 health in damage to JW and Brolan through the wall, and now the kill's going to start to rip on in. The bomb is being defused and will get fully defused by Fnatic in the smoke, and dupreeh could do basically nothing but watch. However, though, Wolf, you have to take into account half buy, 2 or 3 kills, and a bomb plant. That is a solid outcome for Astralis.
It is indeed, and they need to start thinking about maybe going towards that other bomb site at this point. Right, I feel like they've had as much success towards A as they're going to get. They get the bomb plant off the back of that. They kind of find a couple of frags with the pistols, but it's not quite enough. And now, when they have this full buy, I'd like to see them changing the record. It is going to be Glaive actually heading towards mid initially. It's the first time we've really seen Astralis put some pressure there in a while, looking for a speculative wallbang, but it's not quite going to come through. And what do Astralis look to do? Couple of players passive towards the ramp, but this time they have got some presence towards mid.
At least taking that mid control does afford them a few more opportunities. That's the whiff Molotov, who is aimed to the sandbags, bounces off, a bit awkward. Going to keep them at bay a little while longer, also alerts Fnatic to that presence in middle. It's always that situation when a team has hit A so many times, you're always thinking, is this the round that they go B? Is this the round that they go middle? And Brolan standing tall for the first, but he's been cut down to size by Magisk's SG. Astralis making moves. Still a minute, though, allocated to them.
They've sent dupreeh towards the B bomb site to take this early duel, and he's going to win it as well, taking out flusha on the B bomb site. That's going to draw another rotation in the form of JW, and at this point, I really wouldn't mind Astralis going back towards the A bomb site. dupreeh, with the map control to work with, he is getting support, but JW lies in wait, and with half a gap in that smoke, he might be able to catch Magisk should he choose to cross. That could be a crucial frag in this round, but the bomb yet to really make its way anywhere, and Device going to get the information. JW takes out dupreeh on B, but now they know the A bomb site is open. The only player there are lurking Golden, and he can't quite handle the spray of the Krieg. The pressure's going to come on, and Device will get the better of him. As Zipex actually gets a kill over towards the B bomb site, and that's the bomb going down. JW, a 1 versus 3 required, switches out to the M4, looks to spot out Zipex, but nothing doing. Astralis, they pressure every area of the map almost simultaneously. The bomb does go down on B, but they may as well have taken the A bomb site as they get their 5th round.
Fnatic brought back into a tentative position, though, with their money. They've used every single penny. Astralis regained the lead after losing 4 in a row. Now putting pressure over on middle, putting pressure over on the B side. Is that going to draw out some early grenades? Are they going to go down aggressively? It is going to be an aggro play from Golden, who's going to be greeted with a Molotov and HE, tagged down to 69. The first kill, the way of Crims, gets dinked, I think partially through the sandbags. That's why he's still alive. Bit fortunate, but he has a Guardian Angel watching over him. Fnatic player to the good, make that 2, but Xipexes came back straight away onto JW. Magisk now taking the initiative, trying to push outside of middle, trying to afflict as much damage as possible, maybe get some of those rotations in effect and allow the rest of his team free reins to push that B site again. But it seems as though they're slowing things down. The bomb is still dropped downstairs.
Golden, look at that push from Golden. He's clearing so much of the map deep into spawn. If he's keen enough, if he gets aggressive enough, he could cut the bomb out. And as Flusher takes down Magisk, Golden's going to start thinking about it as well. These positions are so good for Fnatic. Finally, the trade comes through from Dupree, but look at this. Xiphex with his knife out, nothing he can do as Golden guns him down. And it's Dupree with 7 points of health. The bomb lost to Fnatic. The only thing really going for him at this point is time and his Krieg as he sets himself up on the sandbags. 30 seconds left on the clock, and that play from Golden was absolutely crucial.
A huge moment potentially in this map. Not to overstate it, but that gets Fnatic back into a 5 score line. It's obvious that Dupree just wants to save. The economy's not looking great for Astralis. Fnatic, now with having those 3 players surviving, going through, can add to them. This map really on the balance. Momentum-wise, certainly favouring the Swedes. They may even try and hunt for some more SGs as well. There should be plenty of them plastered around. Golden's got his hands on one now. So a nice little boost.
Krieg on Vertigo is a weapon to be reckoned with. So Golden will be very happy that he's managed to get one into his hands. Astralis still able to buy, but it's going to be some slight issues. Magisk again dropping down onto the Deagle. The utility a little bit limited towards Dupree, but Astralis won't mind that. They've had some troubles getting rounds together recently, and now they can get the full buy on the board. They can get some firepower into their hands to try and push back what is a resurgent Fnatic at this point. JW, not with the AWP, but with the M4, starts to make his push, and Brolin does take a couple of early tags, but the map control is good, and JW has just spotted out Device so close to finding the initial headshot, but can't quite connect, although it is going to force Astralis back off of their early aggressions.
Thank God that sandbag was changed, by the way. You used to be able to just shoot through the middle of it. There was a little gap. It was so broken. Trying his hand around the corner, not going to quite pay off. There was a smoke that was also deployed on ramp that did give them a pretty interesting avenue of aggression. Now the smoke down there, small bit of light at the end of the tunnel, which is Dupree's trying to see if he can find a pixel to shoot onto. Crims taking this opportunity to push up close. JW, Molotov on the right-hand side. As long as he keeps presence here, it could bait the T's into pushing up, and that's the bomb that's gone down first, and Crims, he's mowing down as many T's as he can get his hands on. Now, bomb's still out in an awkward position. The smoke will afford them the chance to pick it up, but it's a great cost to their lives. Golden's also chipped in with one. There's JW. Bomb picked up, dropped back down again. And Magisk, solid wall bang. Impressively done, but he's only on 3 HP as that grenade probably should have killed him, but not quite yet. 30 seconds left. Doesn't have the bomb. I feel like the bomb is going to have no real impact in this round, though. It's going to come down to frags. Doesn't feasibly have the time to retrieve the bomb and rotate to the other side of the map. So if he does want to go for this, it has to be in the here and now. This is where the economy of Astralis is also going to be in the back of their mind, itching and scratching them. And hence why maybe Magisk will just pull the plug and save instead. He's more than good enough to pull off rounds like this, but it's not worth it in the grand scheme of things.
And Fnatic will finally take the lead on Vertigo, allowing Magisk to stay alive for the time being. Golden almost getting close enough to go hunting, but he couldn't quite find it. I think it is worth noting that Vertigo tends to be a little bit CT-sided. When Astralis took on Vitality, they only got 6 T-sided rounds to start things off, so there is still light at the end of the tunnel as Fnatic take the lead and start to really apply that economic pressure onto Astralis, who do take the timeout. Understandable, as they're looking at Deagles and that one saved Krieg from Magisk.
Doesn't look like they're going to put too much behind this, get too influenced by Magisk's save. Obviously, he's down to $0 as he stayed alive until the bitter end. He saw it through. Golden, leading by example. It's not too often you see him at the top of the scoreboard at 10 frags to his name. Brolan's having a bit more of a slower game thus far, but everybody's really picking up the slack. Honestly, there's no plays that are really standing out for good or bad reasons here. It's good to see that everybody is pulling their weight.
It's a new look for Fnatic, especially after Overpass, and it's what they needed, isn't it? Everybody to start hitting their shots, finding their frags, and giving their team the best possible opportunity. Magisk gonna go aggressive towards the B-bomb site early on, but there's no counter-aggression from the CT side as Zipex alone towards A, trying to make something happen on that scaffolding. Already down to 56 HP, and Flusher actually manages to spot players out, throws the nade, and that's going to do some damage as well. Zipex taken down towards A as the push starts to come through. The boost not going to work out for Magis, but who cares when Glaive's hitting Deagle shots like that? Opens up the B-bomb site, forces the rotation of Brolan on that Krieg, and how much can he get done? Deep nade comes in, good damage, but he's got to stay alive, he's got to buy time, traded again. The Deagle's doing good work for Astralis, but finally, Fnatic start to come in. Crims with a quick headshot onto Magisk, and it's Device and Dupree to try and make something of these Deagles. JW up close and personal, making a nuisance of himself, but no longer. Device with another quick headshot on the Deagle, and Astralis looking absolutely lethal as they come into the 2-on-2.
The problem is, though, the bomb was dropped back at T-spawn, so for all of the movement that they managed to pull off, all the retail estate they'd bought up and pillaged, they have to now go back. It's back to that familiar territory of the A site. Device, Deagle, Dupree, Deagle. Up against the M4 and AK. Firepower certainly in favor of Fnatic. Time dwindling away. Dupree's going to try and keep them focused over on the B side of the map. He needs to make some noise sooner rather than later, though. He needs to get up close. He's got the UMP now to his name, so the spray could come into effect. They've seen him. This is going to make them both bite down. We are going to see a bomb plant. Whatever happens here, or maybe Dupree doesn't need any help. 5 seconds to go. Now Crims must realize that this is the other side of the map, and he's going to say, screw this, I'm off out. Try and mitigate Dupree as best as he can. Crims trading across to the AK-47. There's been enough time, though. At this stage, Device could be feasibly anywhere. Crims is going to have to eat so much time to check all these angles, to check all these nitty-gritty positions. Crims on the turn, spraying towards Device. Time ticking away. There's a smoke down, and now Crims can try and funnel him out into the open. He's only got a USP by his hand, and Device! Deagle to the forehead! Astralis clutch it in one of their worst buys of Vertigo.
How do Fnatic let them get away with that? The Deags ring out on Vertigo, and connecting with every head in sight are Astralis. And that just shows you what the Danes can do. You give them so little room to maneuver. An awful buy. Magisk doesn't really get anything done with the Krieg, but that doesn't matter when your Deagles are singing like they are for Astralis. They will have the full buy. That will reset Fnatic as they go down onto the P250s, a CZ and a 5-7. 6 rounds on the board on the T side of Vertigo for Astralis. They've matched their record against Vitality, and they'll be looking to go one further now.
All of that optimism, all of that good work that Fnatic have done has been completely mitigated, neutralized by Astralis with what else but Desert Eagle. Starts off with Glaive, ends with Device. Now Fnatic have got to try and return the favor, but they actually have no Deagles in play. It's P250, 5-7, CZ, no kits, no nades, one player, which is Brolan with Kevlar. Even if they take a weapon away from Astralis, it likely won't have too much impact. Device can be peeking in first. There's so many avenues for him to watch out for. That flick onto Crims is crisp. It's beautiful. It is against an ecoed up team, but still very impressively done. And Astralis looking to regain the lead. Golden, 5-7, his only ally, his only compadre, but they have been separated.
To have an AWPer who can spray transfer an AK-47 like that is absolutely huge. We're going to get the replay as well. He goes for the first and transfers back for the second. Device just showing his class there. Yes, it's against an eco. Yes, they don't have the best firepower in the world, but you've still got to hit those shots, and you've still got to get those transfers, getting Astralis their 7th round on the board cleanly, and it's going to put Fnatic in an awkward position coming into this buy. JW, he doesn't have the AWP, just a scout to work with, and an MP9 for Flusher. 3 rifles on the board, though, and a decent amount of utility to try and back them up for the CT side, so it's going to take something special, but if there's any players you'd want to be pulling off the impossible, it is these Fnatic boys.
I mean, Astralis really do have an embarrassment of riches. Device, if he played as a rifler in pretty much any other team in the world, would still be their star player. Just so happens he's pretty damn good with the AWP as well.
It does get a little bit ridiculous at some point, doesn't it? Where's the cloning facility, Astralis? How are you producing all these players? Brolin, though, jumping up into the boost, is going to get taken down. That was such a smart play, but Magisk is just one play ahead, and Flusher trying to go inside of the smoke, trying to pull something a little magical off. It's not going to happen. Glaive with the headshot to take him down, and now a 5-on-3 as Golden tries to get the aggression in, trying to push from first generators. JW finds a frag, but as quickly as they get one back, it's taken away. Glaive finds Golden, and JW and Crims with so little economy again for Fnatic. They're going to be forced back into this save.
So we started this half, the first quarter of this game, Astralis, we're going to hit A over and over and over again. And now we're switching up to the B site. They're keeping Fnatic on their tiptoes. Let's see what they go for this final round of the half. As you highlighted, though, Fnatic, nothing rich about them. It's rags, it's an MP9, it's pistols. And they have done this as a result of going for extra utility, which is all well and good, but they actually lack any kits. So Astralis firm favourites to take a 9-6 halftime score.
It's all well and good buying the nades, but you've got to stay alive for long enough to get them out. And Brolin, thinking about the early aggression on the MP9, is going to go for it, going to be tested as well. Device to take him out, and that's the MP9 gone immediately. Device finding even more damage, and it's going to be Dupree to find Flusher. The B bomb site completely open. How do they keep doing this, Astralis? Device gets the next. And if you wanted a lesson on how to deal with pistols, this is it. JW trying to get aggressive down the ramp, trying to find something to give his team some hope. Of course, it's the last round of the first half. There's no harm going for it, but the Krieg in the hand of Zipex is just too good. 9-6. And Astralis, statistically, are better on the T side.
Yikes. I'd love to sit here or stand here and tell you Fnatic fans that, it's okay, everything's going to be great on the second half. But truth be told, the way Astralis are playing right now, even with Deagles, they're wrecking you. This is looking a little bit ominous.
To say the least. It just feels like Astralis are finding a new level with every matchup. We looked at this one on paper before we came on the stream, and we were like, this is going to be close. We're going to have 3 maps. Fnatic are so in form. And then Astralis just ramp it up again, and they find another level. Everybody's fragging, everybody's hitting their shots, and they're punishing every mistake Fnatic make as well, right? That Deagle play in that round where they just go in with Deagles and completely wipe them out. You can't let that happen against Astralis because they'll punish you like they did.
They certainly will. We'll see if that punishment is more severe after this break, guys. Stay tuned.
Shots in the man with the plot and we only go bombs away. Ain't no one protecting my mind as a weapon, that's why I'm a dominate. Taking advantage of every second, now I ain't got time to waste. They all tryna sign my name, they want me to sign my name. Counting the blessing while I count that in my winnings. We take 50s and 100s and throw them up to the ceiling. Everything I envision, not everybody gon' witness. Only difference between us is I ain't stop till I finish, yeah. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I always wanted the world, I wanna conquer the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now.
I fell apart when I saw you look at me that way. It broke my heart to see. It was a moment of darkness, a moment in time that I regret for being so heartless. It was a moment of darkness. Look at me that way. It broke my heart to see. It's too hard, it don't come easy.
Astralis shifting into a different gear, a different level, and now the terrifying prospect is there on the CT side as we kick into the second half. 9-6 lead to the Danes, with Fnatic trying to claw their way back in. If they lose this, they will have no further part of this best of three, and they will be going to the quarterfinals rather than the semis. Magisk watching the angle of Zipex, also watching his back. So a double stack in middle, but it seems like Fnatic are going to be slowed down by that smoke.
Buying a little bit of time for Astralis as they reset their positions. Fnatic, it'll be interesting to see where they look to go with this one. The B split, a distinct possibility as dupreeh and Glaive will be put under pressure from the generators. Yet to really commit though. And they are just going to start jumping through now. Here comes the hit. Nade's going to be good. dupreeh gets the initial headshot as well. That's so much damage from the HE. They're trying to swarm, but dupreeh and Glaive, they're all hitting headshots. 3 quick frags. Glaive finally taken out, but dupreeh's still there and kicking. He'll have another thank you very much, and Crims will be taken out. How do Astralis make it look so easy? dupreeh and Glaive, headshot after headshot. That B-bomb site is closed for business.
Well, the first way of making it look easier than it actually is making the correct call and having the players in the right position to have crossfires established. So first off, yes, Glaive gets kills, but also that call, that read is so sick. Fnatic just walked into a blender. I mean, when you're walking into that site and there's 4 or 5 angles you have to watch out for with USP insta headshots, you're always in for a rough day. Just unbelievable read of the game from Glaive, and then obviously the aim on top of it to neutralize and pick Fnatic apart. No bomb plants equals no buy. So it is full Glocks, not a single penny invested into the round on Fnatic. If they get a kill, I'll be surprised. But Magisk is going to take the fight to the Swedes. Finds out that no one is home down here on the ramp. Has been dinked twice, though, from Brolan. He's very low.
Again, Brolan just showing what he can do. 2 quick dinks with the Glock. If he's got any other pistol in the world, he's found himself a frag there and taken out Magisk in the early engagement. But you can see Astralis, they're aware that this buy isn't good at all. They're aware that Fnatic, nigh on likely, aren't buying anything at all. So they go for 3 MP9s. dupreeh, Glaive, and Zipex happy to farm themselves some cash as Zipex gets a second. And slowly but surely, this round is being picked apart by Astralis. They're just helping themselves to the picks. Crims trying to form some kind of a distraction, but he's taken down by dupreeh. And so far, all the kills have been MP9s. Fnatic might do well just to wander into the UMP or the FAMAS, try and give them a little less cash on the CT side of things, JW. his position known. Glaive not looking to pressure too much though, as Zipex gets another, and Glaive goes up the boost just to try and finish the job. JW 1 versus 5. He's trying to catch Zipex up the ladder, but takes the dink for his trouble. 3 HP and a Glock, 1v5. This is a done deal.
He knows he has to die as well. If he dies after time, this absolutely ruins not just his opportunities to get an AWP going forward, but additionally in this next round it's going to be brutal. So it's important he pushes in, gives his life away. They knew it was going to be a foregone conclusion. One thing I think goes under the radar a lot about Astralis, you know, we talk about the utility, we talk about their individual skill. I feel like they're one, if not the best team as well, of being able to rotate out players that are wounded. We saw it with Magisk there, with Dupree coming in instead, and we saw it time after time on Overpass. They took early damage on CT or T side. They're such a fluid, well-oiled machine. They just have somebody else take the position, the weakened player then falls back, unless it's going to be a full execute and they send that player in first. It's just really cool, small little details that add up, and every little helps on the CT side. And
it comes back to that level of talent you have in this Astralis roster, right? They have that added benefit of anybody can fill in any role. There's no AWPer who can't rifle, there's no rifle who can't pick up an AWP, so sure, Device gets tagged up, you drop the AWP to someone else, that player will play AWP now and Device will go in first for you. There's so much capability in this Astralis side, and they're looking for the bonus round here as Fnatic do invest up. The Kriegs and the AK-47s come out. And Astralis, they're hoping that with SMGs and just the one FAMAS on Device, they can pull off a cheeky one here. JW, oh, that's playing with fire up close and personal. The MP9 will get the frag, the Molotov to follow, and they're looking to apply the pressure. Brolin, though, starts to alleviate it somewhat with that frag onto Glaive and brings it back into the 4-on-4.
Zipex banking the grenades, offside, chunks, Crims, puts him in range now of the headshots. On all these other guns except the AK, they have to be very careful. Brolan behind the sandbags. This effectively is a bonus round on Astralis, and if they end up winning the bonus, this just escalates their economy out of control. Fnatic, 30 seconds to make a decision. They need Brolan to get an entry. He's doing plenty of damage. There's no way Fnatic knowing this. Magisk's also been dropped down to 18, but the lone AK is able to deliver the fatal blow onto Brolan. Golden now pushing in, turning his back, anticipating the flashbang, which did come, and Mages keeps the rip and tear through Fnatic. Zipex with the final nail in the coffin. Fnatic are quickly evaporating out of this best of 3.
Astralis had the bonus round and they hit the jackpot as well. 3 AK-47 saved coming into this round. Everything that could have gone wrong there did. Magisk, he gets the early frag with the MP9, then he recovers the AK-47, rotates around, and is just helping himself to kills. Headshots galore. Finding the spray down at range as well against the Krieg is huge, and it's going to put Fnatic in a very awkward situation as they will be down onto the Deagles, a P250 and a CZ75 as they look to emulate Astralis and hope that perhaps they can mimic some of that success they had with the pistols. Astralis, though, needing just 4 more rounds to book their place in the semi-finals. And they'll be aware of that. They'll know the pressure, but this is a team who are no stranger to it.
Oh, they've been here and done it. But so Fnatic, they are some of the longest-standing veterans of CSGO, at the very least, on their team. The likes of Crims, JW, Flusher. These guys are no new players. Astralis, though, as you say, they've been to the tippity top of CS. They had a fall from grace. Now they're there again. Tenacity, resilience, but Golden has his Deagle aimed true. And Dupree has been barreled out of the round. Fnatic, in the meanwhile, though, is slowing things down. They're not going to push behind this. The downside is they have no utility in which to explode onto the site. So sure, they got the first pick, but now they're going to be vulnerable. They're going to be exposed. They're going to need to still raise one of these sites. And Astralis are just making sure they can't get their hands on any of the weapons. They're juggling them left and right while also juggling frags. 30 seconds to go. Brolan and Flusher moving very much individually. Brolan's going to be taking the bomb over on A. Meanwhile, Flusher trying to lock it down on the B side. Keep some of these players interested. See if they can maybe sneak a bomb plant underneath the noses of Astralis. But Brolan showing his head, and it's been ripped off by Magisk. At least, again, they die before time. But the thing is here, Wolfie, I'm focusing in the positive on very small things. At the end of the day, it's still 13-6, and Fnatic, This is their last chance now.
Yeah, it's worrying when the at least is that they're dying before the clock finishes.
Exactly.
That's not what you want to be hearing if you are a fan of Fnatic. 13-6 down. It really feels like it is do or die time for the Swedish roster to try and scrape their way back into this best of 3. They will have the bye. They'll empty the bank accounts. JW, interestingly, not investing onto a rifle, going for the SMG instead. UMP, utility behind it. He had enough money there that he could have picked himself up an AK or even a Krieg if he wanted, but instead, it is the UMP, and Brolin going to look to apply the pressure with his Krieg in towards mid, spied out by Mages. That flashbang so beautiful, though, and it is going to be Brolin to draw first blood. Astralis, they've been here before, they've been a man down before. Can they convert this? Glaive thinking about going up over the boost, and he's going to catch the timing just about. Headshot onto Brolin as he goes down to 6 HP, but he's still alive, he's still kicking, and that's what's important. Finally taken out by Flusher. Astralis starting to look a little bit flustered as JW takes some damage, down to 34 HP. He's trying to hold on to mid, but only a dink to his name. Device gets another, and Device gets the second on the A ramp. Fnatic cannot convert the advantage, and everything is going the way of the Danes.
Something that we've said a few times, Fnatic with an advantage and just fail to get it done, fail to see it through. Fnatic realizing that their chances in this best of 3 have dwindled to a very, very low percentage, are going to call the timeout. But you know, it's always pretty terrifying when Zipex is out JWing JW. That wide peek through middle, they both peaked again, and Zipex actually comes out ahead. Like, that's a vintage JW play. We saw him do it on overpass to clutch around from long. Zipex is having none of it, man.
I mean, I feel like I have to go back to that UMP there, because JW gets the dink. If he's got an AK, if he's got a Krieg, that's a frag. That's mid-control for Fnatic, and maybe they can springboard off that. But instead, it's almost like he doesn't believe that round's going to go right. He gives himself just about enough economy to get an AWP and some nades coming into this one and hope that perhaps this can be the swing. At 14-6, Astralis 2 rounds away from the semi-finals, from the Spodek Arena. And they're looking to finish the job now. Full buy across the board. Device and Zipex with the AK-47s. AWP in the hands of Dupree. He's going to try and be a fast play early up the A ramp. All 5 players here for Fnatic. They're eating the early nades, and JW up close and personal on the AWP can get nothing done. Zipex with the second, but the trades are coming through. Golden and Crims with one apiece, and Zipex knows how important this frag could be. He has to get it, and he does. Flusher and Golden both tagged low, both desperately trying to stay alive. A messy spray, but Glaive gets the better of Flusher, and it's all onto the IGL Golden. He's got the first onto Zipex, still needs 2 more, and with just 19 points of health to his name, how much longer can he stay alive?
Well, he does have the bomb, and he's got time, so he can fake a potential rotation, but this is where Dupree's flank is coming into a pretty solid spot. He's at the top of the ladders. This is going to give him a lot of control, able to scout across, listen for sound cues as well. Golden. Oh, very smart. He's faked as if he's gone for a rotation there, using those girders, which there's only certain parts of the map, such as where he's now coming through, where that metallic sound would be heard from Astralis. He's now going back again. What he's basically looking to try and do is force Astralis into rotations, and because he knows with 19 HP, if he takes a straight-up aim duel against either of these guys, he's probably losing. He is just trying to position them in spots where he can get a bomb plant and then potentially 2 separate 1v1s. He's trying to play that mental game of chess to maneuver Astralis what suits him the most. Now he's got the bomb down. With that AK-47, if he lands headshots, it's doable. But Astralis, they're okay with letting him plant. They've got such a vast lead. Their economy's in such good shape. They have no issues with that. Nice try, Golden. 15-6 to score.
And they barely fell for the fake as well. The noise made no difference. Glaive was happy to sit passively on that A-bomb site. Just wait for the plant to come through. He knew Golden was coming there, and it's 15-6 as Fnatic, they get what may well be their last buy before the quarterfinals. Kriegs, AK's utility limited again. Astralis have looked dominant on Vertigo, to say the least, and it's looking like a map that other teams are going to have to start banning against them. What a terrifying prospect that is, as Fnatic, hoping beyond all hope they can make something happen here. Brolin's going to go fast through the smokes, and he might be able to catch the AWP off guard here. Device looking for some aggression. It's all about the timing.
The timing has typically been in favor of Astralis. Oh, Device, has he seen the player pushing? No, Brolan's going to get the drop on him. Able to quickly rummage together through short. This is going to keep at least Zipex interested at the back of the site. 21-8, by the way. What a performance he's had on Vertigo. Golden using the smoke as a bit of cover. Brolans came in with a second one. Maybe there is that second gust to get behind Fnatic. That second wind for them to start to get in proximity of Astralis. It's going to take a while, though. Plenty more steps before they reach even close to equality. And they still have to deal with Glaive and Dupree. Glaive the first to fall between the two of them, and Dupree on the flank. Back at T-Spawn. He does have an AWP. It would be worth saving this. Sure, they have money on Glaive and Zipex, as does Dupree, but Device and Magisk a little bit lower on that front. Now, JW's read this. The timing nearly favoring him. There was a little while where Dupree was the primary hopper for Astralis. It was fleeting, but we know he at least can use the gun when he's called upon. But can he do any more damage on his way out? No, is the answer. However, Fnatic, their first round in what feels like forever.
And they're going to need a lot more where that came from to force us to map 3, to force us to Inferno. Fnatic, they get the round, don't get me wrong, but they are very much still on the ropes. Astralis will be buying into the next one, and it really feels like Brolin is just the one-man show there, right? He gets 3 of the entry frags. He single-handedly opens up that A-bomb site and makes it possible for Fnatic. And the question is, how many times can the Swedish roster rely on him to keep achieving that? 3 players towards the ramp, matched by the 3 of Astralis, and Zipex fancies himself some aggression, fancies playing around these smokes. A lovely nade onto Golden to bring him down to 54. Traded onto Glaive, and Golden seemingly aware of the aggression. A little bit unfortunate that the bullets don't quite land for him, but Astralis, they're looking to take the fight to Fnatic here.
They are, and even that round where Brolan gets 3, it's all off the basis of catching Device off a timing play. That's not something you can bank on to pull off round in, round out. You can't put the chips down the table and say, that's how we're going to come back and win the next 8 rounds. So now that Astralis have changed it up, they're taking more ramp control, 2 players strong down there. Device now using the sandbags of middle. He's been Molotov'd out, though, so Fnatic doing a decent job with their utility. But no casualties, albeit Glaive is tagged, but so are Crims, JW, and Golden. This round in the balance. The map certainly not. Dupree going to get his toes burned a little bit at the backside of the B site. Has some cover from Zipex. There are still nades here as well, though, to toss up onto the site. Second Molotov forces Dupree out into the open, into the arms of Golden, who will embrace him and choke him out of this. 30 seconds now. Zipex needs to hold the line. He needs to put down the pain. He's done enough at least to stall that plant for a little bit longer. And now Device is up close. Brolan, though, with the spray. Bomb gets planted. Zipex tries to do what he can, but it's not going to be enough to thwart this round. Fnatic, 8th on the board.
Do you start to believe, Vince?
I won't start believing until I hit 11 or 12. That's typically when I begin to believe. You know, I go full Morpheus.
The buy is not going to be good for Astralis, and it feels like small mistakes are starting to creep into their game, and every mistake Astralis make, Fnatic are taking advantage of. They will be on the full buy as Astralis go down to the half, and they are actually going to force into this one as well. 2 M4s, a FAMAS, and a couple of Deagles. Astralis want this over now, and they're going to put the aggression down towards the A ramp, finding Brolin straight through the smoke. It's Zipex, and for the first time in a few rounds, Astralis with the early man advantage out of absolutely nothing, and it's the catalyst, it's the man himself for Fnatic. Brolin is gone from the server. He needs his teammates to step up here.
There was a lot to like about Astralis in the last round, mixing it up on ramp, and you have to feel eventually that is going to catch Fnatic. This is the downside of playing yourself into such a bad position. You can play flawlessly, but if you make one mistake now, Fnatic, you're done. You are beaten comprehensively by Astralis over the duration of 2 maps. So I don't have faith yet to answer your question a little bit more in depth. But if they win this round, Astralis will have a broken economy. That is certain one way back in. Magisk, Deagle. Astralis and Deagles have been a pretty tantalizing prospect over the duration of this map in particular. And Device with his FAMAS. Speaking of one of the Deagle wielders, pulling out all the Juans, and now Crims and JW have to try and save Fnatic once again. It's another Deagle frag. JW 1v5, and it's a Deagle to round it off. Astralis 16-8 take it 2-0 and continue their streak of top 4 finishes only at Katowice.
And what a way to do it as well. The half buy, the Deagles. I feel like the Deagles got more frags than the Rifles. Magix was just going off, and there's so much confidence Astralis can take from that performance, right? They've just 2-0'd a top 4 team in the world on Overpass and Vertigo. Those two maps are going to look terrifying to anybody who has to face them in the semi-final.